Everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So I wanted to talk about The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, and also Andrew Lincoln, I guess, and an update that we have regarding, I guess, something that is really interesting, and that is regarding, I guess, Andrew Lincoln, and maybe possibly some involvement with The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon Season 3. Let's talk about that. So before going any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. We are almost at the point now where I imagine some promotion for The Walking Dead, Dead City Season 2 is going to begin. I know things have been very, very quiet for a while here, but I mean, the show, like I've been saying, they said spring, right? Like, there's no way the show is coming out in, when? June or July or anything like that. Like, it's going to be, obviously, around May or June, and I'm assuming it's going to be May. Like, they have a show right now that's called Dark Winds. The new season of that show is going to be airing, I believe, next month. I think it's March 9th, but I could have the date wrong. And whenever you count, I think there's 8 episodes in that season. When you count 8 episodes from that point, it ends up being late April, and I think that's where they're likely going to have Dead City airing is right there. Because it seems like all their big shows, they air Sundays and they basically go sort of back to back, right? Like they had a few other shows actually that are airing right away that basically seem to end right when Dark Winds is supposed to air. And so I think that Dark Winds, once that finishes airing, it's going to be late April. Then I think right after that, we're going to have The Walking Dead, Dead City Season 2, either that Sunday, so late April, or it's going to be early May. The only thing that is sort of I'm wondering about is if they push it off even longer, just because of The Last of Us Season 2, because that's supposed to be coming out in April. We don't know the release date yet, but I have seen that, maybe it could come out April 13th. We don't know for sure. Obviously, it's just rumors, but, if that airs for, I think it's 7 episodes, right, for Season 2, it would basically go until May 25th, and then maybe Dead City's pushed off until June 1st. But again, I don't really see that. That's just kind of insane to push off Dead City that far. That's really showing that, you're scared of The Last of Us. And, I just, to me, I don't really get it. I think you can have both shows airing at the same time. I think you just have to look at it there's a lot of people right now that are really wanting The Walking Dead to air and to get excited about anything, and there just hasn't been a lot in the last however many months. It's been way too quiet, and that's why I think if you're just looking at the Sundays anyways in May 4th or May 11th kind of makes a lot of sense to me, because by then, you're almost at the halfway point of The Last of Us. And also it's almost better because people are going to be watching zombie content in general or post-apocalyptic content who are going to want more. And so it makes sense to watch Dead City as well. So we'll have to wait and see, but I'm assuming right now it's going to be very, very early May that Dead City Season 2 comes out, and usually their trailers are out 40 days beforehand. At least with the spinoffs anyways, it's been that way. So, you go a month and a half before that, that ends up being mid-March at some point, right? At some point in mid-March, they'll probably release a trailer, which means that before that, we should get some sort of release date or a teaser of some kind, right? So that's why I'm saying anytime now in the next couple of weeks, for sure, we're going to get some sort of update. There's going to be some new footage. There's going to be a lot more promotion for the season. I'm just wondering if they're waiting for March to happen. But yeah, obviously the second that they release a bunch of new information for The Walking Dead, Dead City Season 2, I will cover it. And yeah, definitely subscribe if you want to get all my content like that. But let's get into what I want to talk about here. So I saw this tweet here from Sarah Rowan on Twitter. So first of all, shout out to Sarah for this. The post here actually says Andrew Lincoln visited the set for The Walking Dead Carol Season 3 in Galicia. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's, I looked it up. It's a place in Spain. But yeah, so during November 2024. So really, really interesting. It's exciting because, you got to wonder why Andrew Lincoln did visit the set of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3. I will say, even if it was just sort of to visit the set, it wasn't anything to do with him being a part of the season or anything like that. What's really interesting about it is the fact that he's even going to visit, the set of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. It's just something that I find interesting. Whenever I post videos on when Andrew Lincoln, could potentially come back as Rick Grimes, in The Walking Dead, if it's going to be a new series, a season 2, on one of the spinoffs we have right now, or anything like that. One of the comments I see a lot is it's not happening. Andrew Lincoln is done kind of thing, right? He's done with The Walking Dead. And it's just, to me, it's hilarious because I saw a lot of those same comments before The One Who Live aired. before they announced the show coming out, well, actually the thing is, even when the show was already announced, like in the summer of 2022, like afterwards you would still see that, you know, like they're going to be pushing this off, like they're not going to release it, like it's not happening. But before that, we would talk about all the updates of like, well, you know, like this could mean this, what does this mean, and everything. And that was the one comment I saw quite a bit was Andrew Lincoln is done with The Walking Dead, you know, he's not coming back, like they just don't want to admit it, this and that. And you would see that comment a lot, and I just kept saying, like, it just makes no sense when you really look at it from the overall perspective of what the story is, you know, what the characters mean, I guess, to these actors in terms of their career and everything. It makes no sense to sort of give up something like that, right? And so when I'm looking at where we're at right now, it's sort of very similar. Like Andrew Lincoln, like, yes, he told the story of, you know, him reuniting with Michonne, Judith, and RJ, and there was that whole, you know, story that went back to the original, I guess, series, and that makes sense to me. Like, you're telling that, but there's characters out there that it just makes sense to reunite with. Like, I obviously don't know what's happening, like, on set or anything like that. Like, to me, seeing that Andrew Lincoln visited the set of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 3, I'm just thinking, like, in terms of, you know, if he went there to go visit, obviously, Norman Reedus, right, and Melissa McBride, and they're talking about whatever, like, they're probably talking about, like, scenes that they're about to do, or maybe he's watching them, you know, like, film a scene for the show, and, like, there's no way he's not thinking the whole time, like, oh, I missed this, I really want to be on set here, like, it'd be so cool for Rick to be in places like this, and, like, that's the thing, too, Andrew Lincoln seeing Daryl in a place like this as well would probably be really exciting for him to be like, oh, imagine Rick being in a place like this, like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, when I see that Andrew Lincoln is visiting the set of, you know, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, like, that tells me that he is still very much involved with this world overall. You know, like, if he was done, like, absolutely done with everything, I don't think he would care too much about a lot of this, you know? And the fact that when you combine a lot of this with previous comments he's made about where he would like Rick's story to go next, and saying that there are other characters out there that would be kind of cool to reunite with, like, I imagine he's thinking about how absolutely insane it would be for, you know, Rick and Daryl to actually reunite, to have some sort of story there. Like, you know, that's exactly what he's thinking, like, when he's there, like, on set kind of thing, right? And so to me, obviously, like what does this mean? Does it mean Andrew Lincoln or Rick Grimes is going to be in season 3? I mean, maybe there's something there. I personally don't really think so, though. Like, I think that maybe there could be some sort of storyline, you know, that could make sense for something related to Rick. But, like, I don't know, really. Like, I kind of view it more like, you know, he was there just to sort of visit, you know, Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride, and I guess everyone else who would be there, right? Like, I don't know if Greg Nicotero is there, Scott Gimple, like, there could have been a lot of other people there. And so to me, that's really cool. Like, the fact that Andrew Lincoln is just there in general while they're, like, filming and all that for season 3 is just absolutely exciting. I wonder if that means that they finished filming Cold Water, because they started that in, like, July last year, June or July, and that was only 6 episodes. I mean, it's February now, like, they have to be done, right? So I imagine that show at some point will come out later this year, which I will review it, because I mentioned it before, but the premise seems really, really interesting, and also it's Andrew Lincoln's first, like, I mean, TV show really in a long time, and so it's more of a thriller as well, so I think it could actually be really, really interesting. It's kind of why I'm going to cover Daredevil as well, because Daredevil Born Again is going to be airing in like a couple of weeks here, and John Bernthal is going to be a part of that season. I mean, I really like Daredevil just in general, but obviously John Bernthal I'm a huge fan of, and so I really can't wait to see the Punisher. Like, I haven't seen John Bernthal in anything in like quite some time, so like I've seen him on his podcast and whatnot. I've watched some of that, but besides that, I haven't seen him in a lot lately, so I'm excited. You know, the next couple of months is going to be quite a bit to talk about in terms of Daredevil, The Last of Us, as well as The Walking Dead Dead City, in which that takes us to Comic-Con, right? And so after that, it's going to be, you know, a big focus will be on The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 3, which will be airing at some point in the fall. And so, yeah, to me, this is really great news. Honestly, like, Andrew Lincoln visiting the set of, you know, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 3 doesn't have to mean that, you know, like he's going to be in a scene or something like in the season. I know a lot of people think so. There's actually some stuff in terms of the story that I really wonder if they're going to get into the whole Jeffrey Grimes thing, because there's like really interesting aspects to, I mean, it's just because they're in Spain, right? And like Jeffrey Grimes, you know, like his story was set in Spain, and I just really wonder if they're going to get into any of that stuff. Like, I really do. Now is the time to actually do that, right? And they also did confirm today for sure that season 4 seems to be really likely happening now, and they are going to be filming in Spain. There was actually a post somewhere, and maybe I'll talk about it in a separate video, but I don't know. I already kind of talked about it, so I don't even know if I really need to at this point. But yeah, season 4 seems to be happening now, and so the spinoffs are doing really, really great. Andrew Lincoln, you know, visiting and being on set and whatnot, honestly, is really incredible. And so, yeah, I just can't wait to see Andrew Lincoln return in any way, you know, as Rick Grimes. I think that if he were to show up in some way in The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, that would be really, really exciting. Obviously, people, I think, would really love that. But I just feel like they are going to save the reunion for something a little bit more special, because, like, if he just shows up in season 3 and then leaves, you know, just to do the reunion, that's not that exciting. Like, you want it to be done really well, right? Like, it can happen and, like, yeah, we'll all think, oh, wow, amazing, you know, we have those two characters together, but you want it to be done properly. Like, you really do. You want the story to be built up to a certain point. And to me, learning that he actually went to go visit the set and whatnot, you know, regardless of whether he was filming or not, if it was just sort of to visit Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride, that's really cool, because it just shows that he's still sort of involved with The Walking Dead and whatnot, right? And you know that he's thinking about, like, the reunion between Rick and Daryl, like what exactly that would be like, and just all of that. And so, yeah, just really exciting. Honestly, super, super exciting. But I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.